You know what? I'm not messing with it. Not messing with it. I'm having one of those weird things where I always want to change the levels. I'm not touching them. I haven't touched them past 3 episodes, and nothing has sounded weird.
Right.
We've sounded great.
Good.
We've sounded wonderful.
That's awesome.
We've sounded better than 2 guys in a cave with a Yeti.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. It gets better, I promise. Now, here are your hosts, Mike and Darren.
Hey, I'm Mike.
And I'm Darren.
This is Irritable Dad Syndrome.
We are on episode... Do you know what episode this is? Episode 41.
Yes, I'm less excited about this episode than I am the next one. I want to get through this one as fast as possible to get to 42.
Why?
Because my favorite book is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Okay.
And every Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan knows that 42 holds special significance.
Right.
I want to get there.
Yeah.
So this episode, I'm phoning,
You're
literally phoning this one in.
Okay, where's your phone?
We do a rundown.
Okay.
Folks at home should know, or in their car, or at the airport,
Right.
or sitting across from the guy on the bus exposing himself, should know that we...
Is he still on that bus?
He is.
Okay.
He's still exposed.
Nice.
And I'm trying to eat my pizza. So everyone should know that we do a rundown.
Right. I do
a rundown. Periodically, I'll text you with potential warnings,
Yeah.
some might say, of
Yeah.
what I might say.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you plan the show, and then I come along for the ride.
Right.
With a few things.
Well, I think this is fascinating because a lot of people think that you and I just sit down and we wing it, and we don't.
Okay.
We totally don't.
Well, no, we don't. We don't. We used to.
So
for an example of winging it, go back and listen to episode 1.
That's right. We still had some jotted down things.
Yeah.
But no, you and I are both co-hosts of the show.
Yes.
You, I would consider the engineer of the show because you handle all the recording. You handle the audio levels.
Yeah.
And you make sure that the Twitch is up, and you make sure that the show is processed and sent to the Buzzsprout people.
Yeah.
And you do all of that
Maintain
stuff.
all the audio.
Exactly.
Like the raw...
Right.
That we hope to God never sees the light of day.
Exactly.
I hold on to that.
Right. You do a lot of the promotion.
Uh-huh.
I do some of the promotion, not as much of the promotion as you do. I mainly promote on our Facebook page and on my Facebook page.
Right.
While you handle the Twitter and the Instagram.
And I set up the Gojira event.
Meet and greet.
Yeah.
In
I
Cleveland.
set up the meet and greet.
Yeah. Yeah.
With them in Cleveland.
Right. And I'm going to set up the Crowbar event that we're going to have.
Right.
So, just I wanted people out there listening to know that Mike and I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We're not just pretty faces. We're pretty voices.
Yeah. Well, we've got a website with freaking merch.
Yeah.
There's not some dude off in some place in Canada.
It didn't just fall off a damn tree.
Merch. That had to be designed.
Yeah.
Somebody had to type in, you need to learn more words, and hit enter.
Right. And that was you.
Yeah.
Right.
And then pick which model wears the shirt.
Right.
And it shattered. Can I say this?
Yeah.
It shattered all illusions I had. You see the ads on Facebook for the different shirts. You see like a celebrity wearing it. And I've always thought there's no way that Harrison Ford is wearing a Rick and Morty t-shirt right now.
Right.
And I always thought they've got to be photoshopping that way. And it was confirmed when I put our merch thing together. Mm-hmm. Those people have never even heard of Irritable Dad Syndrome.
No.
And they are sporting our stuff like pros.
Well, no, there's one person.
Yeah.
And then they Photoshop 5,000 different shirts.
That's what I'm saying.
On each person.
They're selling it.
Yeah.
How did we start this?
I have no idea.
No, we have a rundown.
Right.
And
that's one of the jobs that I do.
That's one of the jobs that you do. You try to wrangle me and say, hey, jackass, tonight we're going to be in front of microphones.
Right.
And this show just doesn't write itself.
I try to structure the show. I try to make it flow cohesively. Uh-huh. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't.
Well,
sometimes we go off the rails, and it's fantastic. Yeah. Sometimes we go off the rails, and it's not fantastic, and I throw an ink pen at you.
We have some episodes where I show up, and by show up, I mean I walk down the stairs.
Right.
And I have nothing.
Right.
And I know I've done 40. I've done 40 of
We've
these
done 40
things
episodes
with you.
Mm-hmm.
I now know that there's a certain amount of fear that enters your heart when you're in that situation with me. Because my capacity. I'm like what are those things called that suck on a shark? A remora?
A leech.
A leech.
Uh-huh.
And if I sense that something could be funny, Whether or not
dear
anyone
God.
else in the universe thinks it's funny,
Right.
I'm going to get it. I'm going to amuse myself with it.
Right.
And that may or may not mean pissing you off
Right.
to no end.
I'd like to think that after that one time you pissed me off, that you learned your lesson and won't do it again.
It's
hot. I was hot. I was so mad at you. But anyway,
I would say that I don't swing the gun around, to use a metaphor, as often, but I certainly am not versed in gun safety. It's possible that thing goes off again.
Okay.
And I shoot myself in the foot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But anyway, for people listening, that's what our roles are on
That's
this
what we
show.
do.
Yeah.
And we
gladly do it for you, our listeners. Yeah.
I've noticed a little bit of housekeeping for the show.
Yeah.
I don't listen to our show that much. I edit our show.
Right.
On the days that I edit. I used to edit all the time. Now I edit like every other show, and you edit we share editing. So I don't listen to our show that much until the day of the show, the day that we're going to record. So today, I listened to episode 40.
Right.
But I edited episode 40. Here's the deal. Here's what I'm saying. When I'm editing, I'm listening for things to quack.
Right.
I'm listening for parts where we just, there's parts, and you've edited the show now, our brains stop, and then you get a little bit, that thing. Sounds like we're chewing cud.
Is that over there?
It's like, what? Oh, we can't have that. But then there's also, I've noticed that sometimes you, for the most part, sound like you're on your game most of the time.
Okay.
There are times when I am sitting here, and you're smiling now, because I'm coming to a realization that you've had for 40 episodes. I usually take a good 10 to 15 minutes to get riled up. It usually takes me a while. I start out the episode going, "Hey, it's Mike, and I've got a lawnmower, and I freaking had to lift it and put, and let me tell you
There's
something.
a bag of dog poop in my tree.
It's in the thing.
Here's the thing. Did I tell you about that?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with you, too.
And by the way, that's the Irritable Dad Syndrome drinking game.
Here's the thing.
You do a shot every time Mike says, "Here's the thing."
So here's the thing.
And you will be jack hammered.
So I have gotten, the listeners of Irritable Dad Syndrome are responsible for my Monster Energy drink addiction, because I feel like I can't go on stage without it.
Right.
I need a pep. I'm employed now. We started the show. I was employed.
You were employed,
and then
you
I was unemployed
for like a month,
and I had tons of energy because I had nothing else to do.
Right.
Now
you're tired.
Now, I'm bringing home the bacon.
Yeah.
And I need a little pep.
Right.
I got more stories now.
Okay.
Most of them I can't tell.
Oh, God.
But
if you
I'm
people
more
only
amused.
knew.
Oh, good God. Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, Mike had some zingers that we absolutely cannot tell on this podcast.
We need to figure out. We need to figure out a way to do it, to like disguise our voices and come at as a different.
Oh, yeah. The man was talking to me, and he was asleep.
Oh, my God. It's like it puts the lotion in the bucket or it gets the hose again.
Yeah, exactly.
But no. So, that would be funny if we did create something else where we disguised our voices. We told all the stories we could not tell. The ones we tell each other right after the show ends.
Right.
And that thing ends up becoming way more popular than this show. I would listen to that show.
This portion of Irritable Dad Syndrome is brought to you by Whompers all-beef footlong hot dogs. Hi, I'm Dave Lay, and I have a man-sized hunger. When I get a craving for hot dogs, the only hot dogs for me are Whompers. Whompers are made with 100% pure beef with no fillers and no preservatives. Whompers are perfect with chili, cheese, and onions, or if you're a woman, ketchup. Get a ruler and measure it yourself. If your Whompers hot dog isn't a foot long, they'll refund your money, guaranteed. Whompers, the official all-beef foot-long hot dog of the 2021 Summer Olympic Games.
We had a shout-out this week.
Yes.
We've talked about this guy a few times on our podcast. The guy's name is Jim Timmerman, and he has a Facebook, I dare say it's a sensation. Okay? It is fascinating to watch Planking with Jim. Okay.
Yeah.
He does a weekly segment on his Facebook page, Planking with Jim. Now, how exciting can planking be? You're thinking, that doesn't sound exciting at all. Well, I'm telling you right now, it's hilarious. So, he printed
out a picture of our show.
You just have to check it out And then it's like, if anybody could make planking entertaining, it's this guy.
Yeah.
Well, he gave us a major shout out the other day, and we included the video of it on our Facebook page. So check it out on our Facebook page. And then check out Planking with Jim Monday through Friday on the Facebook.
Every day he does Planking with Jim.
He planks every single day.
How long are the episodes?
About 3 minutes.
I need to start doing something like that.
We should start making this podcast about 3 minutes. Thank you very much, and good night.
There are a lot of podcasts out there that are like 5 minutes, like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get anything done.
No.
We would literally just like,
we've already went over our...
and it'd be over.
We've already ran our limit on this one, So anyway, Jim, thank you so much for the shout out, and check out Planking with Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other day, we were talking about asking people to leave a review for our show. And shortly after we started...
Hold on. I know where you're going because I see the rundown.
Okay.
You need to be very careful when you mention this, that you don't mention another person associated with this person.
Right.
Because they're banned from the show.
I understand that.
I don't want to hear that frickin' name.
Right. I will not mention...
in my house.
Okay.
My children live here.
I understand that. I have a picture of my mother in my wallet. And I don't want his name to be associated with her. So we got a review for the show. And the person who wrote this review is a big fan of our show, Lisa Coleman Ferguson.
Mm-hmm. Great taste in podcasts, horrible taste in men.
I understand. She says, Mike and Darren are awesome, super funny, and seem to be genuinely good people.
Okay.
She hasn't met him.
Yeah.
But the highlight of the show is Dave Lay. The man has a voice as smooth as silk. He could read the Cincinnati telephone directory and keep my attention. Watch on Twitch for the fun and interaction. Download for the dulcet tones that is Dave's
Dulcet
voice.
tones.
Dulcet. I was in a band in college called the Dulcet Tones.
Yeah.
So, Lisa, thank you so much for your review. We pass this along to our announcer, Dave Lay, and I have to agree with everything she says.
Oh, yeah.
Dave is just money in the bank. He's funny. He's got a great voice, and we love having him as our announcer.
It's the Dave Lay podcast with Mike and Darren.
Featuring Mike and Darren.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know that people listen to it and wonder, is he going to do a commercial for bone-sucking mustard this week? Or is he going to do another one for Diff liquid concentrated wallpaper stripper?
Yeah.
Apples. I mean, the guy can sell apples. Every time I hear his commercial about apples, I'm like, I want an apple. Wow. So, Lisa, thank you so much for that.
This awkward pause is brought to you by apples. That's right, sweet, delicious apples. At Irritable Dad Syndrome, we know that there are dozens of apples to choose from. So ask your local produce department employee which apples are right for you. Apples. Enjoy one today. Appley.
Now, I got a message the other day from a fan of ours, Erin Durbin. She and her husband, Jason, are big fans of the show.
Okay.
They've binge listened to several episodes
God
on
bless
several.
them.
I know.
Yeah.
So they're on vacation. They're going to Asheville.
Okay.
And she sends us a message saying that we're driving to Asheville listening to your show and we're enjoying it. Thank you.
And we're enjoying it.
And they're enjoying it.
What sad, empty lives.
I asked her what episode she was on, and they had just listened to the episode where you had dropped salsa in your son's eye.
So there's okay. Yeah. I saw that episode get downloaded recently.
Yeah. And I said, well, that was my favorite part of that particular episode.
Yeah.
So she tells me, my dad was once holding her son when he was a baby, and they were at Smoky Bones restaurant. He said, hey, Aaron, watch this. And he pretended that he was going to feed Evan from a bottle of hot Tabasco sauce.
Oh, God.
Evan reaches up, squeezes the bottle, squirts the hot sauce into his eye.
Oh,
his eye.
Awesome.
Yeah, she was not happy with her father that day. So just when I thought, you couldn't get worse than salsa in your eye, imagine hot Tabasco sauce.
That would be so
straight into the eye. Yeah. So, Aaron, thank you very much for your message. We really appreciate that. And we appreciate you and Jason listening. Now, I went to see A Quiet Place 2 over the weekend.
Okay.
You
went to the theater.
I went to the theater because it was only available in theaters.
And you took your kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, for the longest time, Cameron was afraid of everything.
Yeah.
Okay. He would watch some Disney movies and he would close his ears and his eyes.
Okay.
He was scared to death of the monkey in Toy Story 3.
I'm still scared of the monkey.
He was scared to death of it. For the longest time, we couldn't watch that. Well, something has happened, and he ain't scared of nothing now.
Okay.
And he keeps saying, I want to watch a horror film. I want to watch a horror film. Can I watch something scary?
Okay.
So we knew A Quiet Place 2 was coming out.
Okay.
So we get on the thing.
You remember seeing A Quiet Place with me?
Yeah. You and I went to see it at the
And
theater.
we weren't terrified. We were a nervous wreck.
You were holding my arm very tightly. I'm like, Mike, I'm not your wife.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember after A Quiet Place 1 ended, I looked at you and I said, well, this whole time I thought Dwight was going to come out and we find out there was a plank on Jim. And the people behind us thought that was funny when I said that. So I entertained 2 people that night.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went on the download thing and we downloaded on Spectrum and we watched A Quiet Place
to the
1.
download thing.
We went to the download thing. I've been learning this from you.
Okay. All right.
Cameron loved it.
Okay.
Cameron loved it. Jacob loved it. Everybody was like really cool.
Yeah. Do you think it's too scary for Charlie?
No.
I'm asking you about my kid. The first Quiet Place.
Well, you let him watch RoboCop, didn't you?
No. I've joked about that. I haven't let him watch RoboCop.
Those monsters are scary.
They are scary. Yeah.
So I'm going to say
no. Probably not. No.
It's PG-13. There's no blood and violence and gore.
Yeah, but there's some PG-13 movies that should really, really not be PG-13.
Yes, that's true. This one is definitely a PG-13 movie, both 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So Jacob loved it. Cameron loved it.
Yeah.
Libby loved it.
Okay.
So we watched the first one on
on the download
Saturday
thing.
on the download thing.
Yeah.
And then Sunday we went to see it.
Okay.
At the theater.
Okay.
And I'm telling you right now, the second one is a roller coaster ride. It
really
is really good. You have to see it so we can talk about it on the show. I
want to see it.
It still has some holes in it. Still has something, because you remember what I was joking about. Like, for years everybody's known you can't make any noise because these monsters that can't see but they can hear things like 5-10 miles away.
Yeah.
And so everybody knows they can't make any noise, and yet John Krasinski keeps going.
Yeah.
It's like he keeps looking at me with his finger up and shushing everybody. It's like we know we can't make any noise.
So I love that movie so much.
Jim
Krasinski's movie so much when we would go see it, because I thought this is a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so back in the 70s, there was a movie, Rosemary's Baby.
I've seen it.
And that was intended to terrify parents. It was like to terrify parents. It's like, you can't get more terrifying for parents than monsters that will come at any given sound, and you have kids, because they have kids.
Yeah.
And the whole time, I'm thinking, we'd be dead. We'd be in the first, they would land.
Yeah.
I don't know if they tell the origin. In my mind, they came from space or something. They would land, and ours would be the first house they would go to, because Andrew would be doing the home invasion stuff in the middle of the night.
Slamming the cabinets.
We'd be gone.
My son Cameron would be like, Dad, can I talk now? Can I? Well, Jacob, I thought Jacob was going to talk. Well, Jacob was talking earlier.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What?
And you see the thing creeping up behind them, and they can't see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever the noise of those things make.
Oh my God.
Dad. Hey, Dad, can I talk now? Dad. It's like
we'd be done.
We'd be done.
Now, because I told the story before, I was like a ninja growing up.
Yeah.
If they came when I was a kid, I'd be like the last man standing.
Yeah.
So I watched a movie recently.
Okay.
I meant to talk to you about. And I don't think you haven't seen Army of the Dead yet, have you?
No.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
That is a very fun movie. You have to watch it with the right mindset.
Okay. I'm not going to learn anything.
You're not going to learn anything from it. But it actually does a really, really good twist on the zombie story, basically taking it and adding in Ocean's 11.
Okay.
And then, it has a lot of your typical zombie tropes, but then it's also catering to an audience that has seen tons of zombie movies, are sick of zombie movies.
They got to make it different,
Yeah, so it reminds me somewhat, not in like terms of story or anything, but like in theme of like how you feel about it, like Zombieland. Have you seen Zombieland?
Yeah, I saw the first
kind
one.
of like a new take.
Yeah.
So this is kind of in that same vein, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, okay.
In parts.
Now, what was it? Was it World War Z?
With Brad Pitt.
Where,
I've seen 3/4 of that movie.
Okay, and what was different about that one is the zombies are really fast.
Swarm, yeah.
They're very fast.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, so the
Like, that's the only difference.
yeah, if you're looking for a thing in this one, it's the zombies are, and this isn't really it's in the trailer. They're smart.
Oh.
They've like created a little society.
Oh.
But they're zombies.
Okay.
And there's
Now,
like classes of zombies, and
I told you what I would do to fight the zombies,
Yeah.
didn't I? You put roller skates on the zombies, and then they're like, right there on their ass. Then they're like sitting there trying to get up, and they can't get up because they're on roller skates. And they for some reason, all zombies have a hurt ankle or a sprained ankle because they limp. I don't understand that. I don't know why they don't just walk.
So one of the reasons that I had a lot of fun with this movie
Yeah.
is, and I hate this in horror movie. It's a horror movie trope of in order for the person to get attacked by, or for there to be a sense of danger, you've got to have some stupid people in there.
Yeah.
I wonder what's in the dark closet in the house.
I think I'll go in there by myself. Yeah.
So the people there is, at the beginning, there's a decision that's made, and your eyes will roll. You're like, oh my God, I really, and you'll almost want to turn it off.
Is it the attractive,
No, it's nothing like that.
Not the attractive girl who goes off by herself?
So, okay. So
did they break
have
the
to go
rules
to
and scream?
No.
Okay.
They have to go to a place.
Okay.
And somebody who has no business going to that place that's extremely dangerous forces their way in to go with the group. And I was rolling. I was like, oh my God, here's a whole dramatic portion of this movie that's not needed. That annoyed me a little bit. It is cool, like how that turns out.
Yeah.
But that's the only part. After that, everybody is like doing things the way you would expect them to do them, and they're being really smart about how they deal with the zombies. And like I said, it's kind of like Ocean's 11. You don't have a whole lot of people being idiots. There's a couple in there.
Yeah.
But it's really good. It's
I'll
just
have to check it out.
Fun.
I will. I'll check that one out. So after the movie, we went to Krispy Kreme.
As one does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Krispy Kreme is new here to Cincinnati.
I didn't know we had one.
Well, not so much in, like you can go into Kroger and buy Krispy Kreme donuts in like a 12-pack.
Yeah, but that's like getting cotton candy in a mail patch thing.
It's not the same. It's just not the same.
There's your Kroger reference for the episode.
Yeah, we mention Kroger every week. You're welcome, Kroger.
Yeah.
So they put a brand new Krispy Kreme donuts on Taylorsville Road. Now,
do they make the donuts right there?
They make them. They go down the conveyor belt. There's a giant glass window. You can watch them go down the conveyor belt, and then they go down the glaze waterfall.
No.
Yes.
It has a glazed waterfall?
Yeah.
You can see it?
Yeah. I know it's very bad because my favorite are the chocolate-covered custard filled.
Oh, I don't like custard.
I like the lemon filled. I like the raspberry filled.
What the hell?
They're delicious, Mike.
What are you doing?
I'll eat 12 of just the glazed.
Okay. Thank you.
I love those.
Welcome back to America.
Hey, you know what? Shut up.
Lemon?
Okay.
Really? You have all these choices and you choose the lemon?
Dude,
you want your donut to taste like Pledge? What are you doing?
I'm eating the lemon. Okay. What's your favorite? The cotton candy?
I would like
coconut
a cotton candy donut.
Coconut covered donuts?
I did like those when I was a kid.
What's your favorite donut?
I like the classic glazed.
Okay.
If it's well done, it's like vanilla ice cream. If you want to know if you like a particular brand of ice cream, eat their vanilla.
Yeah.
And if you like it, then you're going to like most of their flavors.
Yeah.
If you don't, then you're not going to like other stuff.
Right.
That's
you're
the
like
baseline.
a guy that just eats a cheese pizza. I just like cheese on my pizza.
And I resent that because I've had so many fights with my children and my wife.
Yeah.
Why are you getting just a cheese pizza? It's
they
a waste.
sell stuff to go. It's like Ray Romano. You can put things on the pizza.
Yeah.
Why are you not getting anything on it?
It's like you say you want a sandwich, but then you just eat 2 pieces of bread.
Right.
It's like, what the hell are you doing? Literally.
Put meat or vegetables or both
Pigs
on the pizza.
Gave their lives for that pizza place
pizza.
to be in business.
Exactly.
Who are you to just get bread and cheese on it?
Exactly. Anyway, we go to Krispy Kreme.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. And I went in. The line to the drive-thru was just around the block. And so I thought, I'll go in. It'll be quicker.
Yeah.
It wasn't quicker. But me and the boys got to stand with our hands and our face on the glass wall and watch the donuts go through under the glazed waterfall.
I would go in there
which
every
is
day.
worth its weight in gold.
Okay.
Anyway, so I bought the donuts, and the woman asked me if I wanted a receipt. And I told her, I said, there's no need to bring pen and paper into this. And she didn't get it.
Yeah.
And that's a Mitch Hedberg quote.
Yeah.
one of the best Mitch Hedberg jokes ever was the donut joke, where he says, I bought a donut and they gave me a receipt for the donut. I don't need a receipt for the donut. I give you money. You give me the donut. End of transaction. We don't need to bring pen and paper into this. I can't imagine a scenario that I would have to prove that I bought a donut. So yeah, I told the lady, I said, there's no need to bring pen and paper into this. Blank stare.
Yeah.
No clue. I mean, okay, so
There's
she's probably 17.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy people out there these days.
Mitch Hedberg's been dead for so long now that we're getting to the point where more and more people don't know who he is.
Yeah.
But anyway, she had no idea what it's talking about. But the donuts were delicious.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't believe you don't like lemon or raspberry filling.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. I just recently, within the past 3 years, started liking lemon Starburst.
Yeah.
And Mentos, I can kind of, but it comes back. I'm eating Pledge. I'm eating furniture polish. I can't do it. Pine
You're
Sol.
eating the wrong types of candy.
This portion of Irritable Dad Syndrome is brought to you by Diff Liquid Concentrated Wallpaper Stripper. With its unique enzyme action, Diff dissolves old paste and cuts wallpaper removal time in half. That's right, half. And no steamer is needed. Let me say that again. No steamer is needed when removing wallpaper with Diff. Can you think of another wallpaper stripper that doesn't need a steamer? Yeah, I didn't think so. Diff is also available in a gel. It clings and stays wet longer. It's ready to use, non-toxic, and non-staining. I don't mean to sound offensive here, but if you're using an inferior product to remove wallpaper, well, my friend, you're an idiot. A knuckle-dragging, mouth-breathing, light beer drinking idiot. And nobody likes you. Look for Diff wherever quality wallpaper stripper is sold. Diff, the only one that really works.
I went into Kroger. A friend of mine came over to the house. I was talking to him, and I was telling him that our lights are wonky. We have as soon as you walk into the house, the light in the foyer has 2 switches that operate it, and one of them doesn't work. You can turn it on, and then this one won't turn off or whatever. So it's all funky. And I said, I'm gonna have to have an electrician come over and look at this. He goes, why? I can fix that. Oh. I'll come over and fix it. Okay. And I said, well, what would you charge me? He goes, I work for beer. So I thought, okay, what's your favorite beer? And he said, Rheingeist. I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
So I went to the Kroger, and I'm looking for Rheingeist beer.
Okay.
And I don't know anything about Rheingeist. There's like 7, 8 different types of it. There's different colors and different. I usually buy long neck bottles. It only comes in cans, and so I don't know. Whatever. Well, there's this lady next to me.
Okay.
And I asked her, I said, do you know anything about Rheingeist beer? And she starts laughing at me.
Okay.
And she says, I work for Mad Tree Beer, and they're our biggest competitor. And I said, well, okay, I'm sorry. Then you're probably going to tell me that it's full of poison or whatever. She goes, no. She goes, and then she helps me. She goes, This is their most popular one. This one here has kind of a fruity flavor, but this is their IPA. Very tasty. You will like that. And she's helping me pick out a competitor's beer. And I thought, how cool is this chick?
Yeah.
So I bought the Rheingeist, and I bought some Mad Tree beer because she was there. And I thought that's very awesome of her.
I mean, I would do that if I worked at McDonald's and somebody was asking me about a Whopper for whatever reason. If they came into the McDonald's and they say,
can you tell me where to find Burger King? Yeah, it's right up the street.
We actually did. Actually, Bess's mom did that when she came to visit. She went through a Wendy's drive-through and asked where the Burger King was, or McDonald's and asked where the Wendy's was. I can't remember what it was. And they told her. Yeah, they told her where to go and how to get there. And not in the funny way, but you know what I'm saying.
We added a clown horn, and I'm so excited that we have a clown horn on the show now. It's giving me new inspiration.
The next episode is going to be nothing but
clown horns
everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
I almost started. I think I did use it for some of the quacks.
Yeah.
I was afraid you would get mad at me. I was afraid I'd get like a weird text at like 2 a.m. What the hell's going on? What happened to Quacker?
You only used the clown horn like 2 times, 3.
There was a period there. Yeah, it was you. Just you were doing a Red Fox, part of a Red Fox quote. And it was just going to be one long. It was going to be like Daffy Duck on crack. And I was like, I got to do something different here. So I threw the clown horn in a few times.
Yeah. Well, you have Facebook.
I do.
I have Facebook.
Why do people say you have Facebook instead of you're on a Facebook?
You're on Facebook. Okay. Sorry, I'll phrase it differently.
Sorry, I turned into Seinfeld there. Why do people say?
How come you're on it when you have it?
Yeah.
Welcome back. You have Facebook. You're on Facebook.
I look at Facebook
A couple
from time
years.
to time.
I can't remember how long ago it was, but they added Facebook memories.
Yeah.
And I love the Facebook
That's
memories.
how the government tracks you.
Well, no, it's pretty cool because, you go back and it's like you remember, it's like, oh, I took this picture of my kid on a swing 4 years ago and then 5 years ago. And then I'll go back and see jokes that I wrote that I forgot that I wrote. And I'm like, oh, that was funny. And I write it down and then I'll reuse it, and I wish Twitter had that.
Yeah.
And I think Instagram does do that.
I don't know.
I think they do. But something came up in my Facebook memories that was the story is not hard to believe, but okay, when the kids were really little, we took them to the Cincinnati Zoo.
Okay.
And they wanted cheese conies. So the Skyline Chili was there, and we bought the boys a couple of cheese conies, and we're sitting there and we're eating, and some of the shredded cheese falls on my foot.
Oh,
okay.
My God.
And you know me, I'm an idiot.
Scream.
I am an absolute idiot, and so I'm telling the kids, like, oh, I got cheese on my toe. I got cheese on my toe. Cheese on my toe.
Yeah.
And we're
You're
singing
doing the dad thing.
We're singing the cheese on the toe song, and everyone's having a great laugh or whatever.
Yeah.
This guy walks from one of the opposite tables in the place, walks like past 3 or 4 tables, and walks over to me. And I just like, hello. He says, and I swear he says, my daughter was wondering if she could see the cheese on your toe.
He should have charged him.
He walks. She's like, Daddy, okay, one, a little girl wants to see cheese on someone else's toe.
Who wouldn't?
And then the guy's like, okay, I'll go.
I have to go over.
I will go and ask him.
Yeah.
So he walks over and he says, my daughter wants to know if she can see this. So I'm like, sure. So I pointed at my toe.
Yeah.
There it is. What do you do with that, Yeah. Anyway, that popped up. And another Facebook memory popped up. And I know I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but I'm going to mention it again because I was in Costco. Mm-hmm. This is a few years ago. I'm in line. And the woman behind me, and I swear to God, she bought 10 pounds of frozen salmon and some skimpy black lingerie. And I'm wondering, what is her weekend like?
Yeah.
And it's like, and if she's listening to the show, I want to know.
Write in and tell us.
What happened. Yeah. Tell me if there was a story. Was it a coincidence? Did the two have anything to do with each other? Or were you just like ready for a hot night with your man and he just really loves salmon? Or I don't know what. But that's a question I want to ask our viewers. Yeah. What's the craziest thing you've seen people buy at one time at the store? Mm-hmm. And we've got to have, and I know people are going to make up a bunch of weird, nutty stuff.
Yeah.
But I know if you've ever worked at a store and someone came in and bought 2 or 3 weird things together, I'd love to hear those stories.
This awkward pause is brought to you by Kenner Toys. America's favorite toys are made at Kenner. Back to you, Mike and Daryl.
We had a question from a viewer, from a listener. Let me find it. It was from Jim Timmerman, Planking with Jim.
Yep.
And he asked us, he says he thought this would be an interesting conversation item.
Okay.
What alcoholic drinks do we think go well with Girl Scout cookies?
Okay, you ready for this?
I am ready.
Thin mints, bourbon.
Okay.
Mint julep.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a softball.
Yeah.
And then what's the one that nobody likes? The Girl Scout cookie that nobody likes?
Do-si-dos?
What are those?
I don't know.
Okay. Isn't there one like coconut? Everybody says it's disgusting.
Oh, my wife loves those because they have coconut in them.
Okay.
My wife would eat a razor blade if it had coconut on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't mind coconut, but I think I've had those before. And I'm like, why? So I would say with those, moonshine.
Moonshine.
You just like knock yourself out before you even know what happened.
Right.
The rest of them, I don't know.
Yeah.
What other ones they have? The peanut butter ones?
Yeah, the peanut butter ones.
And
then what are the Samoas? What are the? I can't remember what those are either.
Seems like wine would go with the peanut butter ones, right?
Yeah.
I could see a nice
A nice red
Cabernet
wine.
Sauvignon.
Sauvignon. Ooh,
Yes.
I am not drinking Merlot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
And this is why my first experience with alcohol was a bad one.
Okay.
A real bad one. I was a kid
Mm-hmm.
and we were out. I was staying with my dad for the weekend.
Okay.
And he took me to this, it wasn't a cookout. It was kind of a cookout. Anyway, there were burgers and hot dogs. And,
Okay.
okay, it was a cookout. there were a lot
There
of...
was a fire outside and they were putting meat on it.
That's right. There was a lot of desserts.
Okay.
And I had loaded up.
Okay.
And one of the last couple of things, I had some cookies and I had a big piece of cake, right?
Okay.
Well, my cousin's a bad influence.
How old were you at this time?
12,
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
12, probably.
All right.
I'm going to say 12.
Okay.
So my cousin, the bad influence, says, hey, come with me to my truck. To my dad's
Oh,
truck.
it's never come with me to my truck is usually not a good sign.
So I go with him and we get inside his dad's truck and he
Okay.
reaches under the seat and he pulls out a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Okay.
He says, let's drink some of this.
That sounds like a
And I'm like,
horrible idea.
I'm like, okay. So I had, I don't know how much, a little, not a lot.
Yeah. Do you have a gun I can wave around too at the same time?
Why don't we do some fireworks, you know? I drank some of that. And oh my God, I was sick as a dog.
So I got to ask.
Yeah.
So as a kid, as
Yeah.
a 12-year-old kid, you clearly and you're presented with a bottle of Jack Daniels. Up
Mhm.
at this point, your drinking experience is
Nothing.
water,
Yeah.
Kool-Aid,
Coke. Yeah. Milk.
maybe
Lots of milk.
Coke and milk.
Oh my God, I drank so much milk.
So you're used to I'm thirsty. I've watched my kids drink.
Uh-huh.
It's like they've just come from the Sahara.
They just ran a marathon.
yeah, and you're just like it's gone before like what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing with that being your only drinking experience that's how you went at that Jack Daniels at least for the first at least no did you was some trepidation like a little sip is that
yeah,
what you
I mean,
okay.
and then, and I don't know, a shot, 2 shots, I don't know what I
Yeah.
had,
Okay.
but it was enough. And
It was enough.
And it made me so sick.
Oh Lord.
And I was staying at my dad's house that weekend, and I got up in the middle of the night, and I'm throwing up, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to be in so much trouble." And Dad was cool about it,
Uh-huh.
and he didn't. Did I end up telling my mom this story? I mean, it's not like it was Dad's fault.
Yeah.
I was afraid I was going to get in trouble because
Yeah.
I was drinking and I got sick. But
Yeah.
I have since then. I have never mixed alcohol with sweets
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Just the thought of it. I mean, like if I'm out at a cookout and I'm drinking beer with, burgers or pizza or whatever. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then if I'm going to have something sweet, I'll switch over to soda, or I'll eat the sweet stuff and then I'll go in their kitchen and I'll rob their milk.
Yeah.
I have done that before. I'll be back in a minute. I go up in there, I raid the refrigerator and drink their milk because I'm a party animal. You can't stop me. Over the past week,
Okay.
more than once,
Yeah.
I have seen people posting pictures of cicadas having sex.
Okay, how can you tell that they're
Because they're,
is that how they do it?
yeah.
That
yeah.
doesn't seem very
They're-
appropriate.
Well, that's what dogs, that's how some dogs do it. They turn with their
Doesn't
whatever.
seem like isn't there a thing that's supposed to go into a thing?
Yeah, I think
Is that,
so.
is that
Yeah,
how that
it's
works?
supposed to, yeah.
It works at cicadas?
Well, I mean, I guess so.
I mean, like fish, like the girl fish lays the eggs, and then the guy fish comes by and
and
he has like a Penthouse magazine and
goose
does his
over
thing
them,
on
yeah.
it and swims
yeah,
away.
Yeah,
So cicadas, they have the boy cicada has a.
I guess so. I don't know enough about them, but all I know is I actually kind of felt bad for the cicadas.
Should we have put a parental warning
Exactly.
right before this?
But I commented, I'm like,
Mike and Darren are going to talk about cicadas next.
my buddy posted the picture. I'm like, did you get permission?
Yeah, it should have
Because
blurred out their butts.
Now these cicadas are caught banging, and it's all over the internet.
Yeah.
It's gonna go viral.
Yeah,
And
I
then
mean,
their
if the one
families are
cicada,
gonna-
if the one cicada is cheating on the cicada family,
Yeah.
hey, that's his business to deal with. I don't feel bad for him. He shouldn't have been out there.
I mean, it's a loving moment they're having, and now
Yeah.
people think they're watching cicada porn.
Yeah,
And it's like, what are you doing? Come
Yeah.
on, have some privacy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, people are just fascinated with cicadas and posting pictures of them having sex.
You know what
on the
two
internet.
consenting cicadas do in the privacy of their own piece of tree bark
Right.
is between them.
Between them, yeah.
If they do it, how you know what? You remember the video with David Bowie and Mick Jagger where they're rubbing butts on each other? Is that?
I remember I must have been 14 or 15 when that came out. I'm like, it just didn't seem right at the time,
Okay.
did
There's
it?
nothing wrong with it. It just they're singing and all of a sudden they just go into that motion and it's like I don't know why that followed from there.
Dancing in the streets.
It's like watching Bob Ross paint and all of a sudden he pulls out a gun.
Right.
It just doesn't fit with what he's doing.
Right. And then he just starts drinking whiskey and he empties his revolver into the ceiling.
So I did see a blooper from that video where they bust out laughing.
Bob Ross?
No.
Oh, a blooper from David
Mick
Bowie
Jagger
and Mick Jagger.
and
Okay.
David Bowie.
Yeah.
So I read something about how one or both of them, now brace yourselves, were blitzed out of their minds on something. And that they just started doing that and they thought it was hilarious. So there is a video out there of them starting to do that and then they just die laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a heartwarming moment.
Dancing in the streets.
Dancing in the streets, that's what it was.
Oh, that was a shining moment in the history of rock and roll music.
We interrupt our show for a special announcement. Congratulations to Jason Durbin, Irritable Dad Syndrome's Listener of the Month. This has been a special announcement.
I mentioned my dad earlier.
Okay.
And there's a story I've been wanting to tell. When we lived in Virginia, we lived in the mountains, and we had a TV, a console television. You know that Jeff Foxworthy joke? If you put your new TV on top of your old TV, you might be a redneck. Okay.
Yeah.
So we had the big-ass console television that had 3 channels, sometimes 4. Sometimes PBS
It was like
would come
wood.
in. Exactly.
You
Wood
put, like,
console TV.
It's probably like a little port on it that holds cigars.
Weighed like 7,000 pounds.
Yeah, it's part of the house. It's part of it's a load bearing portion of the house.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It was ginormous, and on top of our TV we had a rotary dial. Okay, the rotary dial changed the direction of the antenna on our house. Okay,
yeah.
So because like I said, we lived in the mountains,
Some Lost in Space.
so
stuff
we would
there.
change the rotary dial north. Okay. And then we would
You'd watch the North Channel.
We could get the CBS station out of Johnson City.
Okay.
If we had it on north. If we turned it south, then we got the NBC affiliate, which is out of Bristol, Virginia.
Okay. All right.
I don't remember where we got ABC so that we could watch Fantasy Island and The Love Boat, but we found it. And I don't know where PBS was.
I would say Love Boat would be southeast.
So, yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we would have to change it north to watch the CBS station if we were going to watch MASH, and if we wanted to watch BJ and the Bear, south. Okay.
Definitely south of BJ and the Bear.
Okay. The rotary dial broke. Okay.
Yeah.
So that means we can't change the direction of the antenna. That means we can't change the channel. We can change the channel, but we can watch snow.
Can I ask you a question real quick? I hate to interrupt you.
No, you don't.
Was it?
You love interrupting me.
Was it controlling a motor that would turn it, or was it literally like physically as you're turning that? It's like
the dial
through gears
the dial
stuff.
would turn like the dial would turn like the arm on a clock. Okay, and then you could hear the antenna.
Just like a series of pulleys and gears and lever. Oh, it was like a motor turning.
Motor.
Okay.
So when that broke, my dad's dead. I never could ask him, why didn't you just buy another rotary dial?
Yeah.
But there was a period where my dad would climb up to the top of the house with his hand and move the antenna north
until he could hear MASH.
And then one of us would go, yeah, it's coming in now. And then he'd climb back down.
Yeah.
And we could watch MASH.
Okay. That's great.
I was telling somebody, my dad climbed on top of the house so we could watch a different show. They didn't believe me.
Oh, I
But it
believe
was
you
true.
100%.
Yeah.
I believe you 100%.
It was absolutely true. And we didn't know anything better. We didn't know anything different.
There's a generation and a generation before that where if you didn't buy anything, if you didn't absolutely have to.
Yeah.
I had, so we're close to the same age. When I was growing up, Atari 2600, that was like the first video game.
That was the first video game system I had.
So, remember the controllers was black with the joystick and the one fire
the
button.
joystick and the paddle.
So one of mine broke.
Mm-hmm.
now, if one of the kids' controllers break, I let it go for a period of a week or two. This is why you don't rub peanut butter on the controller. It breaks, or the dog eats it. That's what happens. But then I go buy a new controller. Sony and Microsoft know this, so they make the controllers cost almost as much as the damn system. But my dad made a controller out of a block of wood. He took the internals out and made a block of wood and made a control. The whole time I'm like,
he made like a Fred Flintstone controller. Yeah. Okay.
He's an electrical engineer.
Okay.
So I think 85% of this was him seeing if he could do it.
Right.
A good 12% of it was.
I'm going to save $7.
12% of it was.
But $7 is a lot of money.
Made it,
back in the day.
My parents made it through the Depression, and 3% of it is.
How old were they?
I don't know.
My parents were born in the 40s, so
no. His parents. He's saying his parents.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was going to say.
So the house that I grew up in, there was we called it the TV room. It's where my grandpa hung out all day.
Yeah,
he's had it like a lazy boy, and a TV, a console television, as it were.
Right.
And there was a large, used to be a sliding glass window, but it had been welded shut, so it was just like a huge window that looked out into we had a carport there. Okay, so my dad, it's just like a ranch house, not a very large house or anything.
Right.
So I was always in there watching TV with him. We watched Sanford and Son, Three's Company, Andy Griffith, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Laughing at Laurel, and I saw every Laurel, all those things, the Three Stooges, all those. So we're always watching those things.
Yeah.
And I saw my dad come out and put a ladder. Okay, so the way the TV room was angled was we could see a portion of the roof going around. So the ladder was like right up almost against the sliding glass window of where we were. So we see a profile of my dad going up on the roof. We hear footsteps of him walking around on the roof. Shows are continuing to go. I hear a scuffling sound on the roof. And then I see, okay, so the top of the sliding glass window was maybe 8 feet. I'm going to say it's 8 feet up. And then the room itself was maybe 1.5 feet off of the ground. So it's a good 10 feet. He was already perfectly horizontal at the top. I remember this distinctly.
Yeah.
And I saw him fall.
Oh.
Perfectly horizontal.
Like in the cartoons.
Yeah. Land on the asphalt, bounce up.
Oh.
And back down. And he curled into a fetal position, got up, was
did he say, I meant to do that?
Got up, was holding his back and doing like a skip kind of thing around with his face blood red. And then we heard him run over into the porch. And my grandpa just said, "Michael, I think your daddy is dead."
No. Oh, what happened to you?
I got up and whatever, and he was fine. I don't know. But, so as a kid.
Anything more, you can fall 10 feet and be just fine.
I mean, I was a little kid. All I knew about what the body could withstand came from Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Yes.
Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, Bugs Bunny, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
As a kid, I didn't think it was a big deal. The older I've gotten. So now I'm older now than he was when he fell.
Yeah.
It's like, it terrifies me. I was like, he really could have died, like right there.
Yeah. I was making the bed the other day, and the corners of our bed are wooden, and they come to a corner.
That's the title right there.
And
the corners of our bed are wooden, and they come to a corner.
We don't have posts.
Okay.
And somehow, it's not like I made a run and go to the bed or whatever. I full force just hit my knee square in the center of my knee.
God.
Right on the corner.
The kneecap?
Yes.
Oh, that's a hard
hit. And I I dropped like a sack of sugar. Dropped right on the ground.
Was it in your head? Did your kneecap, had it shattered?
You were like,
you had a shattered kneecap.
I thought I'm never walking again. Okay. Dude, I was dizzy. I was sweating.
Oh.
I saw stars and
Yeah.
floaters.
Yeah.
And Libby usually laughs when that happens, but she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God, are you all right?" And I couldn't make out words. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
"Oh my God, it hurt!"
Oh
like
my gosh. My knee hurts just hearing that. Because I've done that. I've hit it dead center, and it's squishier than it should be.
yeah.
It's weird.
I'm like-
You'll drop even if you didn't really hurt yourself.
But this has to be what I felt like. Nancy Kerrigan had got hold of me, or Tanya Harding. Which one did the whacking? Tanya. Nancy got is the
Harding
one-
whacked.
Nancy's
Kerrigan,
the one who got
Nancy Kerrigan got.
She's the one who got it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, oh my God, if it felt half as bad. Oh God, that hurt. Talk about falling.
What's the reason that was always a thing that they in the mafia movies? It's always they're going to take out your kneecaps. There's a reason they went there.
A few years ago, I was changing a battery in the smoke alarm in our bedroom, and I'm standing on a chair, and I'm reaching up to get the smoke alarm there, and I turned a little, whoop, lost my balance, boom, landed right on my side, right?
Yeah.
And it knocked the air out of me.
Yeah.
It totally knocked all the air out of me. Libby hears this thud,
Yeah.
and she and the boys are like, Darren, Darren, and she's yelling.
Yeah.
And then she's like, it's almost, she's mad at me that I'm not responding.
Yeah.
And she runs upstairs, Darren. I'm like, it's like I can't talk because I knocked all the breath out of me. And then what do you do when someone's clearly can't talk? Are you okay?
Yeah. That's Bess
Answer
always.
me.
Bess, every time she thinks I'm choking on food, she wants to have a conversation with me about whether or not I'm choking. Yeah.
Good times.
Okay, so I need to tell our listeners, if you are 25 or younger, these stories, they don't seem to mean anything to you. These are horror stories to people as old as we are. And that's one of the reasons why I was so proud of, I couldn't wait to get on this show and talk about how I dove to get Dakota's leash.
Oh, yeah.
Full bodily, John Wick dive. Because as I'm flying through the air, I know I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm going to die. I died here next to this pond trying to save this stupid dog.
Yeah. I hear you.
I had another thing happen. I was playing football with the kids. This is a very short story.
Okay.
But since we're talking about the horrors of aging, I actually caught the ball that one of my kids threw. If you're a new listener to the show, I'm not sports oriented at all. So I was excited that I caught it. I was excited. There was a chance I was going to outrun my 7-year-old, and he's really, really fast.
Yeah.
So I was not going to slow down. And there's a point where you're running and your front of your body is out farther than your legs. And from life and physics that you're going to go down hard.
Yeah.
And that happened. And I remember putting my arms out to stop myself. And I was absolutely 100% sure my arms were shattered. I'm probably going to break my collarbone. And I'm going to somehow impact my heart and die right here in front of my kids. I was positive that's going to happen.
I'm impaled.
But I didn't slow down.
Yeah. No.
I didn't want to see them. They're going to see me die, but they're not going to see me slow down. And I landed, and it hurt.
Yeah.
Really bad. Nothing broke. And I got up, and I was proud. I completely screwed up the play.
Yeah.
Lost all the points.
Yeah.
Messed everything up. But I was proud of the fact that I could get up and that I didn't cry in front of my kids. That's where I am.
I was throwing Frisbee with my brother one time. And we were out in this circular carport outside the apartment where we lived. And we're throwing, we're getting it pretty good. And I'm running backwards trying to catch this. And I'm convinced because I was doing pretty good. I hadn't I hadn't missed like the last 10, 12 catches or something.
Yep.
And I'm getting psyched, and I'm running backwards, bam, right into a row of mailboxes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You talk about pain. And I missed the Frisbee. I didn't catch it.
You know what this episode's turning into?
What?
The Billy Crystal.
You
ever get
when that
the
happens.
needle right there in the middle of the eye? Oh, I hate it when that happens.
Sometimes I take a bottle of rubbing alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
And I put it in a little cup and I throw it right back. Oh, that stings.
Yeah, that's smart.
Boy, I hate when that happens. I was talking about my dad. And my dad had an expression.
Okay.
I didn't learn anything from my father. Okay. My dad never taught me how to change a flat, or I didn't learn anything from my dad. But Dad had one great expression.
Okay.
And my dad said, listen, when you're raising kids, if you tell your kid, let's say he's doing something wrong, if you do that one more time, I'm going to break both of your arms. Okay?
Yeah.
And if he does it again, you got to break both his arms. And that was
sound advice. That's sound advice.
Gotta
You
break both his
can't
arms.
you can't argue with that. You got to follow through with your promises.
You got to.
Yeah.
My dad worked for the telephone company.
Okay.
When he was in,
There's a lot of guys in casts walking around working for the telephone company.
they kept falling off the pole.
Yeah, it's okay.
No, when Dad was in the Army, he was stationed, or my dad was in the Army during Vietnam. He wasn't in Vietnam. He was in Bangkok, Thailand. And he
Okay.
was installing telephone lines
Okay.
as part of the Army's telecommunications thing.
Yeah.
So he learned how to install telephone lines.
Yeah.
And back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s, telephones had to be installed into your home. A guy had to come and drill and put them in.
It was
there.
a thing.
Yeah. And then, shortly or soon after that or whatever, you could buy them and then plug them in. you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, you had to have a guy come and install them. And so Dad installed phones all over Lafayette, Indiana, and then all over the Belfast, Lebanon, Virginia area. So that's what Dad did for years.
Uh-huh.
Dad got older and technology changed, and Dad still had a rotary dial phone in his house that worked.
Yeah.
But he had to retire early because of medical reasons for his diabetes. He had the sugar, as they say in Virginia. So Dad had the sugar, and he couldn't drive the school bus anymore.
I think Dad had the sugar is the title of the episode.
So Dad had to break down and buy a cell phone, and he was, I believe, the last person to buy a cell phone.
Yeah.
He did not want one.
I cussed to high heaven about it all the time.
Not interested, did not want one. Why am I going to get one of them damn cell phones?
Did he ever use the word newfangled?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure he did. So, anyway, Dad had to, he would go to these doctor appointments, and he'd come back and found out that he had missed all these calls concerning his retirement and this and whatever. So it was like, damn it, I had to go. And he went and got one. So he goes to the Verizon store.
Okay.
And the guy's like, oh, now, Mr. Cox, if you get this phone here, you can download ringtones and screensavers, and there's games on here, and stop right there. Dad says, just stop. If I buy that phone and I want to call my son, Darren, can I do that? And the guy says, yeah. And if he wanted to call me back, could he do that? Yeah, I'll take it.
That's awesome.
Guy says, can I sell you a case? Oh, yeah, I'll buy a case. And he bought a case, and he was good. And Dad was up at our house, and his phone does a thing.
Yeah.
And I looked and said, oh, Dad, you got a message. Oh, well, what is it? And so I opened it up, and I'm trying to read the message. And I was like, oh, you need a code. He goes, I don't have a code. If it's important, they'll call me back.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Our house in Virginia was the only house in our neighborhood that had a phone in the bathroom. And people thought that we were high on the hog.
Yeah.
We had a phone in our bathroom, and some people joked, why would you do that? And I'm like, yeah, are you ever in the bathroom? Have you ever taken a bath and the phone rings?
Yeah.
You have to get up, and you couldn't bring the cell phone in with you because we didn't have cell phones. You get up and you grab the phone and you talk while you're in the bath.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember now, if you didn't have it when you were growing up, if you didn't have a phone in your room, because we had a phone in the kitchen.
Yes.
And the cord extended about 20 feet.
Yeah.
But I would.
There's no privacy.
Every time I would get a phone call, which wasn't that often, I'll be honest.
Right.
But I had to get away from everybody. I didn't want everybody listening to my conversation.
Right.
And it taught us our generation, to talk like this over the phone.
Yeah.
I want to go play Nintendo. No, I don't want to play Nintendo. And it's just,
I know.
Everybody hears your conversation. I heard what you were saying to so-and-so, and you're not going to do that this weekend. Thanks.
It's like, my God, in elementary school, and I'm going to use quotation marks on a podcast that's audio only.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, Rhonda Stump, she and I were boy and girlfriend.
Yeah.
This is in fifth or sixth grade, she went to the dance with me to the whatever. We were so cute in our little picture. We're standing there with our hands right by our sides, you know. And I remember I tried to call her one time, and my brother would not stop ribbing me because I was talking to a girl. And he said, "Oh, Darren's talking to a girl." You know, it's like, it was, you couldn't just take your cell phone and go in the car or the basement or outside.
Of course, you can't use that excuse now either.
Right.
That was another thing, because I use that excuse to get off if somebody called I didn't want to talk to. Hey, my mom's right here, and I can't. She would be at the store or something.
Exactly.
My mom's right here, and I'll call you later.
Yeah,
and just never call them back.
But the best part about having those rotary phones was you get pissed off at somebody, bam, slam it, and bing.
That and anger dialing.
Yes.
You get somebody with a lot of zeros in their number.
Yeah, that was the best.
Yeah.
Take you 20 minutes to call somebody long distance.
Yep.
That's why we never called Nana and Lafayette. It took too long. Well, listen, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We want you to go to
Twitter.
Go to Twitter.
Dad Irritable, at Dad Irritable on
or
Twitter.
You can find us on the Instagram. You can find us on Facebook.
Facebook, Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Go to irritabledadsyndrome.com.
Yeah, occasionally I update that.
Yeah.
Put pictures on there. There's pictures of us. There's pictures of band people.
There's pictures of Dave Lay.
There's pictures of random people that we know.
Soon, I've been told, soon,
Yep.
Chris Michael bought a shirt.
Okay.
He is supposed to send us a picture of him wearing said shirt.
Wow. That's awesome.
And that will go on our Facebook page, because if you buy merchandise and send it to us, your face gets put on our website. Lisa Coleman, she's on there.
Yep.
Jim Boyce is on there.
Yep.
So there's an incentive.
Yeah.
You'll be famous.
There you go.
Can't go wrong.
Absolutely.
But we want you to subscribe.
Yep.
And we want you to leave us a review. And most importantly, we just want to say thanks. And we hope to see you again on Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Absolutely.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that was the best episode ever. Makes me proud to be their announcer. We'll see you next time.